Welcome back to NKAA Entertainment. This is the first installment of our video game podcast, which is not yet titled. Pretty much the same as the rest of our podcasts go.
The only title we have is Collector's Hideout.
Yeah.
Everything else is untitled.
Yeah. We'll get to that. That stuff's not important right now. It's what we're talking about is what's actually important. So we're going to go ahead and introduce everybody that's participating today. This is MrPsyco talking to you.
Oh, this is Weizie.
LiL Haiti.
And Enforcer.
Okay, today we got a couple of topics that we're going to go over. We're going to start with the new update for GTA, GTA 5, GTA Online, which this Tuesday brought us Smuggler's Run. It's the pretty standard GTA update, or GTA Online update, I should say. It's followed the pattern of every other thing that we've gotten. There's a new business center to buy, which unlocks all the different things that you can do. Whereas the last update was the gun running shipment, focused on all these armored vehicles that allowed you to shoot from them. This one focuses on planes and helicopters and ultralights and things of that nature that also allow you to shoot from them if you pay for those upgrades. But you can't get those upgrades unless you buy the new hangar, which starts at, what, $2 million?
No,
the cheapest one?
God damn.
It's 1.5, if I'm not mistaken, is the cheapest one.
For the base model.
Right, and then you pay for all the upgrades to said hangar with basically about doubles what you're going to pay for the hangar.
Yeah, it's just another way where they get you to spend money, and most people will go out and spend real money to buy shark cards so they can then afford this new hangar in the game so that they can be part of the new thing to do, which...
Whoa. I haven't played GTA with its 5, right?
Yeah.
Since it first came out, and it pissed me off with having to buy insurance and shit for my cars.
Yeah.
And I couldn't just kill people I wanted to kill in multiplayer.
Yeah.
It took away everything for me. But what you're telling me right now is that people actually go out and buy, with real money, cards to then use money in the game.
Some people do.
So like an app from your phone, we have in-store purchases.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple of years ago when Rockstar got rid of the president they had that did all these games, the new guy came in and decided that they wanted to focus on microtransaction model to make the most money possible. So all of the single-player DLC that was planned for GTA 5 was canceled, and he had teams working on periodic updates for GTA Online, and giving you reason to actually spend real money to buy in-game currency. Now, you can do all of it without spending money. It just takes a lot of time. And there are a majority of people that go out and spend real money just to get the stuff immediately. We have a friend that...
How much are we talking?
Well, how much do you want to spend?
No, for like this update, this new one, this new hangar, whatever, it's like $1.4 million in the game. Like, how much are we talking to buy that?
Well, $100.
Like, if one of our mutual friends, who's a fool and does do this stuff, I imagine I know who you're going to say did it.
Yeah, but we're not going to mention names.
But how much did this person spend on this?
They didn't spend any on this.
Okay.
On this specific one. But I bring them up because they have in the past bought the largest shark card you can get, which is the Megalodon card. And that is 100 real world dollars. And it's the equivalent of 8 million GTA Online dollars.
Wow. Okay. I wish I could do that in real life.
Yeah.
Give 100, get 8 million back. I'd be in for that.
Good investment.
Yeah. So it's just their whole model now focuses on microtransactions for money.
Giving it to you, basically. Just giving it to
Yeah,
you.
oh yeah. No, they've flat out said it. Their president has said it. They want to find ways to have people spend money, and that makes the longevity of the game go that much further. The fact that, one vehicle can cost upwards of $5 million now.
Holy crap.
In the new update, one of the planes costs over $5 million.
I can see a plane costing that much, but a car?
Yeah, but then you have the upgrades for it. So, and the upgrades for the new plane, it's a VTOL plane, which can actually, vertical takeoff and landing. It has a bomb bay door, which you can just carpet bomb things. It has a jet booster, which you can use. It also has a mounted gun on the back of it. Like, there's all these different upgrades. The armor, you can actually upgrade the armor for it as well, just like the cars.
Wow.
So you're probably looking at about $7 to $8 million once you're done with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like they say, a fool is quickly parted from their money, basically. Yeah.
And it's, the thing is, you got to pick and choose what you want to spend your money on, because last year they came out with yachts that you could buy. And it was supposed to be like this tactical center. Your guy could spawn on it. It would have a helicopter. It would have anti-aircraft missile. And it was a way that if players were attacking you, you could spawn there. And
be safe.
If they tried to come over, your boat would take out their boats or take out their helicopters or jets or whatever. They couldn't get near you. But to buy one of those yachts, you were looking at $10 to $12 million to have it fully upgraded to where it could do all those things. But then, shortly after that update came out, nothing else happened with the yacht. It cost you $250,000 every time you want to move the location of the yacht. It costs you money anytime you want to change something on the yacht. So it just became more expensive than it was worth. So a lot of people bought the yacht. I did not. I definitely did not spend money on that. But a lot of people we know bought the yacht and then regretted spending the money on it, because it's basically like a paperweight now. You never go to it.
That's
hateful.
Thank you. Yeah, that's horrible. Damn.
And they
Remember I hate this game? I can't see why.
They continuously toy with the amount of money that's given to you for things. When the game first launched on the 360 and the PS3, when you did jobs, you got a decent amount of money. Things didn't cost that much. But then they started realizing that they could give you less money, and they said it was a mistake. They never meant for it to pay out that much. They had to go back and fix it. So the jobs started paying less and things started costing more. Now it's at the point where every in-game day you spend, you pay for per business you own, per house you own, per whatever your businesses do, you pay the people working at those businesses. So right now I think every day in-game my guy spends about $25,000, $30,000 just to keep up all the businesses that I have, and it's hard to make that money back.
Yeah, this is just a little too real for a game. Like, especially a game that it's the ones that came before it, especially GTA 4, was literally you get into a map with your friends, you guys go apeshit, blowing up, killing everybody, cops, going to war, having turf battles with other teams. Go for that to essentially Sims.
Now you have to worry about every rocket you fire, because it's going to end up costing you, like, to fill your rockets back up about, between $14,000 and $17,000.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And I know that you got frustrated when the game first came out and you were playing it, because if you blew up somebody's car, it cost you money. Well, that stuff still happens.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Right. I mean,
it's GTA.
That stuff still happens. But it's a lot easier to go around and have those wars with people now than it was on launch. But
if I wanted to adult, I'd live in the real world.
The game is constantly searching for ways to take the money that you've been earning away from you. And very rarely does the game give you any opportunities to earn more money than you would have. Just recently, they had a car, for your car business. You could sell your cars and it was worth double the money. So now when you sell a car, what did you say today? It was $80,000.
It was 80. Yeah. So the top there's a 3-tiered system for selling cars, and the top end you make about $80,000 after you have to pay to upgrade it. So you pay $20,000.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You sell it for $100,000,
but you have to pay $20,000 to upgrade it. So you end up making $80,000 altogether.
Yeah, and then if you're the only person in the room when you're selling these cars, if you're in a public lobby but you're the only person in there, or everybody in there is part of your organization, the CPU sends out random people to try to shoot your car, blow up your car while you're trying to deliver it. And the bullets, every time a bullet hits you, it costs you $600 or $700. It takes damage. Your car takes damage, and it costs you based on the money that they're going to pay you. And it adds up pretty quick. I mean,
That's not how things work.
No, I understand
exactly.
that. But it ends up costing you anywhere between $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 out of the money you're going to earn. Well, last week they had double payout, so it's worth selling the cars, right? But to go through all this hassle to sell them now for $80,000, it really isn't that much. And both Enforcer and I experienced unfortunate circumstances this weekend with our gun running business in the game. I was delivering a car. I had just delivered a car, got into my other car, which is a Knight Rider car.
So you were doing illegal activities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
it's this entire game.
You're running a business and paying $25,000 a day to run your business is not exactly all illegal.
Yeah. So I'm running. I deliver this car, I get into my Knight Rider car, and I'm starting to drive back to where I am. I get a phone call in-game, and it tells me that my bunker has been robbed by a private security company, and I need to go get the stuff back before they leave. So I'm like, okay, I just turn around and start heading to where they are. There's no counter on the screen. There's no time limit. There's nothing like that. I get to the airport where these people are. I take out the people there. I blow up the helicopter they were going to use to get rid of all my stuff. Enforcer helped me. He was in a helicopter, right?
For those of you that don't see us, he was pointing at himself because he was pissed off he wasn't being acknowledged for helping.
So, he blew up the helicopter because he had blown me up right before that.
That's true. I also did blow him up right before.
So
that's what GTA is about, by the way.
Yeah,
blowing each other up in helicopters.
But, so I pick up my supplies. I go back to my bunker with the supplies to drop them off, and I get there, and my bunker was essentially full. Like, it goes through different stages. It takes 12 or 14 real hours to fill your bunker of you being in the game. Okay? It's a long process.
And you can sell it
for $1.2 million when it's full. So it was essentially full. I deliver the supplies back, and instead of being there, it's a $300,000 value. And I have no idea what's going on because nothing's ever been stolen from my bunker before. I get a phone call in-game telling me, you didn't get there fast enough, so most of your supplies got taken. It's like, well, that's great. I can understand if you have a penalty system like that, but if you're going to have a penalty system, why not give me a counter? Why not give me a timer telling me you got to be there in this time or you're going to lose some of your stuff? Or why not give me like a bar that says, okay, you get here between this time and this time, you get this much of it back, this time and this time, that much. Don't tell me to rush there. I rushed there. I wasn't in any accidents. I didn't stop. I got there quickly. And then tell me that I didn't get there fast enough. Like, there's no way for me to know how long I had to get there.
Yeah,
so I essentially lost $800,000 worth of value, which had taken me, 9 or 10 hours of real world time to build up, not to mention all the supply missions you have to run on to get the stuff to make your product. And then, Enforcer was sympathetic to what happened for me. He's like, yeah, that sucks. And then today, something similar happened to him. I'll let him tell you about it.
Yeah, I basically got the call that my supplies were stolen, went over to where it was at, had to defuse 3 bombs, which I did with no problem. I got in the truck with supplies in it, and as I'm going back to my bunker, they send NPCs after you. And the NPCs were chasing me, and I like to use sticky bombs, which, looking back on it, was probably not the best idea in the world. Because I threw a sticky bomb. In hindsight,
I probably shouldn't have done that.
Apparently I threw a sticky bomb, and somehow it attached to my truck. And I thought it had actually attached to the car, and it blew up. When I hit the trigger, it blew myself up, and there go all my supplies gone. My entire run, gone. I had a full bunker ready to be delivered, $1,050,000 worth of stuff ready to be delivered, and it's gone.
Well,
I immediately unplugged my Xbox. I rage quit the hell out of that thing.
He took it the step above dashboarding.
The reality of it is that you guys are in a game that's super realistic, and you're both being criminals, and that's what you get for being criminals. You scumbags. See?
Yeah, but they don't give you the option to make money the legitimate way.
Yeah. The only way to get money...
Because GTA.
Yeah,
but still.
The only way...
if I could be a banker in that game, I'd be a banker.
Would you really?
Hell yeah!
The only way to get money legitimately in that game is to buy shark cards.
It's just... It's like, I could run around this game, do illegal things, make a lot of money, or I could be a banker.
I could be a banker, or
I could make cookies all day for the guys playing the game. Like, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to run around with machine guns trying to be illegal.
The problem is that
jumping cars and stuff.
They get away with this stuff here in America, whereas in other countries that play GTA, they have to constantly put the shark cards on deep discounts because nobody buys them. But here in America, people are just buying them all the time.
Not people, kids.
Yeah, you know. I mean,
that's because people are... Well,
they're going on, they're buying these shark cards, so they never go on sale here. But that $100 shark card in the UK, for instance, only costs $50 usually because people don't buy it. And even then, it has gone down sometimes to $30 for that same card we're paying $100 for.
But would you buy it?
If
it dropped to $30, would you buy it?
Okay, so here's the thing. If it dropped to $30, I would buy it once because there are a couple things that I would like to buy that I don't want to waste time saving up for. It's as simple as that. If I could spend $30 and get $8 million of in-game money, I would do that. But I'm not willing to spend more than that because I don't like this business practice. And the more we reward companies for doing it, the more they're going to do it.
Oh, yeah, it's going to get to the point where you're going to get the next Mortal Kombat will come out and be like, oh, if you want this character, you have to buy it from us for $15-$20 for that one character.
Yeah.
Forget just having DLC where you get a few things, just that one person, $20 if you want to play that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a fantastic picture that somebody made and put on the internet. It's been circulating around for years. We'll try to find it and stick it in here, but it's the pre-DLC.
By we will, he means I'm going to try and find it, and I'll be sticking it in.
I'll help you find it, but you can put it up. But what I mean is, it shows a picture of pre-DLC.
Here's the guy in the chair.
It shows a picture of pre-DLC era games and post-DLC era games where it's a hamburger and it's got all these different things on it, and that's what the game is. But now, when you order it, you get the bun, right? And that's what comes with the game. But if you want the burger and you want the lettuce and the tomato and everything else, you're paying extra for all these things because it doesn't come with it. And it's sad that it's exactly like that.
Yeah, now you're paying for ketchup and mustard packets because, that's the microtransaction side of it.
It's like you've got the games and they're producing a game. They're not finishing the game. They're selling you a third of the game. It's like, oh yeah, we developed the skeleton, the scenery, and this. So here, have fun and play. You can't do much, but if you want to actually experience the game and what we intended it to originally be, you got to pay us even more money. So it's causing a game that's where you normally pay $60 for a brand new game, have a great time. You're now paying $60 for the demo, essentially. Then you got to pay another $30 to $40 per DLC, maybe $10 depending on how big it is. So you want to pay almost $100 to get a full game now.
Yeah, and that's bad enough. But what's worse is when you get a game and they charge you for that DLC they know you're going to want, and it's already on the disc. It's already included in the game. You just have to unlock it. You're paying to unlock it. So they had already made it. They had already intended it to be out, but now they're locking it behind a paywall, and you can't use it until you pay more than the $60 you've already spent. And let's be honest. Most of the time, you're not spending $60 on the game anymore because there's collector's editions of the game, or there's a game that's got extra stuff in it, and you're going to pay the extra $10 or $20 for that stuff. But then you got to pay even more to get the rest of the stuff that you should have gotten.
And these are all reasons why, like I told you guys earlier, the last game I played and completed, I finished a couple months ago, was Batman Arkham Knight. I'm far behind on games, and it frustrates me because I know there's DLC for it, other stories or whatever from other characters, and I don't want to pay that shit. It's like, I beat the game 100%, but apparently you can get like 160% or something. I'd like to, but I can't.
You're not missing much. I have the DLC for that game. The Batgirl story was interesting, but it's really short.
There's a Harley Quinn story.
Right? The Harley Quinn story was a pre-order bonus, so you had to pre-order to get it.
So I'll never get that.
If you pre-ordered it at GameStop, you got both Harley Quinn and Red Hood's DLC story. And the Red Hood one was interesting only because instead of doing the typical Batman thing, he has guns and he just kills people his guns. And then when he sneaks around, instead of knocking them out, he just breaks their neck and drops them to the floor.
My kind of guy.
So, but then you have the Robin mission, the Catwoman mission, and the Nightwing mission. And they're all pretty much exactly the same pattern-wise as the Batgirl and the Harley Quinn and the Red Hood story. They're supposed to be taking place either before, during, or after the events of Arkham Knight. And they're very short. I mean,
Imagine Batgirls takes place before Arkham Knight.
Yes. It takes place...
Hard to be Batgirl while in a wheelchair.
Yeah. I mean, if you look up online, the Catwoman one is the most frustrating because it's almost impossible to beat it. The last fight with Riddler, you're fighting all his Riddler bots.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
it's part of the deal. It's part of the DLC.
It's your fault.
It's part of the DLC.
But
the issue
it's the same
is
thing in the Batman. In the Arkham game, when you're playing Batman, you go to the Riddler bots, but you're with Catwoman.
But this one, you have beams of light coming down from the ceiling, and they are electrified. So if you touch one of them, it really takes a lot of your health away when you're Catwoman. But when you're doing the free flow combat, you bounce from thing to thing,
you go right through a beam.
And sometimes those beams will appear right in your path, and there's nothing you can do to dodge it. You can't stop yourself from doing it, so it's all basically random on whether or not you can beat it. And a lot of people got upset, and Rocksteady said they were going to fix it, and then they just decided, we don't want to work on this anymore, we're not fixing it. So many people can't beat that level because it's all up to chance.
SG, never trust rhinos. That's the moral of that story right there.
Developer shenanigans.
So we got GTA out of the way. We're good on GTA?
Yeah.
Your complaints are out there. They screwed you, bent you over.
We're almost 4 years in.
Everything. And 4 years in, you now hate the game because it took your entire booty.
It took them literally like 20 minutes for me to hate the game.
I hated the game as I first played it. You pissed me off so much.
You know the interesting thing about GTA is they released this new Smuggler's Run, and they only release part of the vehicles they're going to give you now. Mm-hmm. Sometime in the future, they're going to release the other vehicles, but they show you what all the vehicles are going to look like. You can find out what they look like in the game. They're actually releasing a Batmobile, and it is the most I can't believe that WB is not going after them, because the front of the Batmobile is the 1989 Tim Burton Batmobile.
Right.
Like, it is that. The whole front of it looks exactly like it. There's no mistaking it. The only thing that's not there is the nodule in the front of that turbine that spins at the very front. That turbine piece, the nodule is missing. But everything else is there. And the back of it, it's like they sliced off the very back of that Batmobile, and then they just tacked on the Tumbler Batmobiles back to it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. They sliced off the very end. Right, the fins are still there, but they sliced off the very, very end, and they just put the tumbler end on the back of it.
Sue them, they ain't broke.
So
thank you, Haiti.
It's
the only thing you've said this entire podcast so far.
Nah, WB, get them. Handle your lightweight.
So it's, and that car is, I think, going to cost $4 or $5 million.
Of course it is. Batman's car.
So it's just it's amazing to me. There are a lot of cars in the game I want. There are a lot of vehicles in the game I want that I'm not buying. The last vehicle I bought in that game,
it's like real life.
I don't give a crap about all the other vehicles. You want that Batmobile?
Yeah, absolutely. The same way I wanted the Knight Rider car, and I actually spent the money on the Knight Rider car. But the difference is, the Knight Rider car could jump. So if you're someone that played GTA 3 back in the PS2 era, there was a code that you could put in and you could make the cars hop. The Knight Rider car does that exact thing. It works exactly the same way. But the Knight Rider car also has a parachute, so you can go jumping off of cliffs and put the parachute out and glide around. It's got heat-seeking rockets. It's got machine guns. So I did the mission in the game to save like 30% off the cost, and I bought that car. But that car, even with the cost out, was, a good $4 million.
Goddamn.
So okay. I'm not as much as I want the Batmobile, I won't be buying it. It's just too much. It's too much to spend, in my opinion.
It sounds like most of the stuff in that game is too much to spend. But you have people that are like, I'll go buy that stupid car and spend $100 and I'll buy a Batmobile.
And that's why they keep doing it, and that's why they keep selling those things.
All right, so moving on, because we're already at about 25 minutes.
Okay.
Time
God
flies.
damn you, Rockstar.
So, I wanted to ask Little Haiti about his time with Madden, because you guys will learn that Haiti is madly obsessed with Madden. To the point that we can do anything, call him, we could be in trouble, life on the line. He'd be like, hey, we need to do this, we're dying. He'd be like, yeah, I'm playing Madden. He does not care what happens if Madden's on.
This is very true.
Look,
I know
his house could be on fire and he'd still be playing Madden.
Yeah, let the house burn around him. As long as Madden's on, he does not care.
As long as it doesn't take out the electricity, and I'm good.
So, a new Madden came out recently, correct?
Madden 18. Lord have mercy. Madden 18. All right.
So, you haven't played the entire thing yet.
No. I've only I played one game, and I started the long shot to see what that was about. EA has this ridiculous idea that their premier games should all have a story mode. The first one I played was FIFA, and they
Football?
have
You played FIFA?
football. Yes,
Wow.
they have the journey with Alex Hunter, and you're just this one kid throughout the game. I said, all right, that's novel, that's cool, whatever. Then they do the long shot on Madden. It's been a fascinating journey so far.
So you've only played the story mode.
Yeah, I played.
Like, you haven't gone in there just
I played a couple games.
I was like, you haven't set like a quick game of like your Lions versus.
Yeah, I did that. I did the Lions against the Steelers just to attack Ben Roethlisberger one time, get it out of the system.
Did he rape you?
He did not.
Okay, good.
But I'm not saying I don't think it was for lack of trying. It was because I was trying to kill him the whole time. But long shot. Dear EA, it's a fascinating idea. The Frostbite engine in the game, it's a great idea. However,
There was a however.
there is a however. This story mode is fine. Not being able to customize that kid is rather aggravating because now you're just playing. It's not as. I can't buy into it as much as I would if I could customize that guy, create that guy, have some more input in the story. Because now you're just making decisions for one guy on screen.
But
all the time.
Is the guy a real person or is this a 100% created character?
It's a 100% created guy by EA.
Gotcha, okay.
EA puts you in the shoes of this kid who
Now,
is
I'm going to
going
ask you
from
a
college
question.
to the NFL. And all you're doing is making the decisions for him through the draft process. And
I'm going to ask you a question because I've known you since 9th grade.
God darn, we're old.
This guy that you're playing as a created person, is he a white guy or a black guy?
Oh, he's a black kid from Texas.
Okay, damn. I was going to say, if it's a white guy, that's why you want to customize it. I know you.
No.
No. So what it sounds like, Che, is that you're saying that you're not playing your story, you're playing someone else's story.
Indeed, you're just making decisions.
Yeah, he can't make himself as if he wants to make it as him.
Like,
You
have to be this college dropout quarterback.
It's college dropout.
Is it
Indeed.
dropout, huh?
Wow.
You have to be this college dropout quarterback from
Madden.
Texas.
I mean, you have to drop out once you steal, crab legs, so.
Yeah, there's that.
Well, he didn't drop out. He actually got drafted as number 1 or number 2 overall.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, he didn't drop the crab legs as he ran. He handled them.
So he's not fumbling the ball.
Man, and it's a fascinating story to just sit back and watch. Then they have the drills throughout where you're trying to increase your draft stock and everything. It's cool, but the lack of input and the lack of customization, it's a one-trick pony. And I get the feeling when I'm done with this version, with this run, when I get to the NFL or whatever happens, I'm not going to ever play that version of that story mode again. It's going to be straight franchise mode. And it was a fun idea, EA. You need to tweak it.
Yeah.
So
it sounds a lot. It sounds basically like, was it Madden 2006? Or I think it was Madden 2006, and if you had played NFL Street and you'd gotten your NFL Street player to a certain level, you could import him in.
I believe that was the year, yeah.
You could make some decisions for him, like when he came in, how he would, if he entered the draft, if he would just sign with the team, and there were a couple of drills that you could do. So basically what you're saying is this is like an updated version of that, but it still doesn't offer you the kind of customization.
Less input.
Less input.
Wow.
All you're doing is yes or no and making little decisions along the way. And really the only important thing is the drills that you have to play. So as the quarterback, going up to the draft process, that's pretty much the only
it has a one-trick pony aspect to it. You have actually played games in it. Are the controls any different from the previous? Is there any updates?
No, the controls are pretty much the same. And there's 4 different settings for when you actually start the game. Like it says, beginner, intermediate, all Madden and everything like that. Depending which setting you pick when you first open the game, that's the level of play the game's going to give you, whether or not you actually go into the settings later and say, all Madden, all pro, anything like that. It's going to give you like hints on the screen or whatever. So if you're just picking up Madden for the first time and you hit beginner, it'll walk you through.
That's going to be me because I've really never played a Madden game.
You'll enjoy it.
So
you'll have fun.
So here's my question. When I was watching this marketing material, they constantly were saying you'll never see the same move or movement twice when you're playing a game. If you've played a couple of games, what's your take on that? Because they're trying to
so far so good.
So it is
so
very
far
unique.
So good. It's a lot of unique movements and a lot of unique actions. And if you watch football as a regular football fan, you'll see a lot of little things like pointing for the first down. And there's like 20 different first down celebrations I've seen so far. So it's like they've done good in that aspect.
I have owned every Madden game released since Madden 2001. But the last Madden game I was ever seriously involved in that played all the time, and you and I actually played it all the time, was Madden 2006.
Is that the one when you got pissed off because I made the guy dive?
No.
To nothing, and then you threw the game out the window, all pissed off, like chucked it like a frisbee through the front yard?
No, that was Madden 2005.
MrPsyco
that was the year before.
Doesn't like safeties leaving their assignments and allowing 70-yard touchdowns.
Let me elaborate on that for 1 second. So, what happened was, Shay and I were playing against one another. Oh, so LiL Haiti and I were playing against one another, and we were at that point. I would say we were pretty evenly matched. We both had teams that we had done some tweaking to. He was playing as the Lions, of course, and I was playing as the Dolphins, of course, because we both are long-suffering football fans.
I suffered a little longer than you have.
That's true. that is true. But you're doing better now than we are, so it's evening out. Anyway, then we had some friends decide that they wanted to play as well. So we each got an extra person added to our team, and I had been holding LiL Haiti scoreless in the game. And I knew what play he was going to run, so I picked the right coverage for it. And I told Weizie, I said, here, you stay with this guy, and you rush the quarterback as soon as the ball is snapped. And he was like, okay. And then before I realize what's happening, Weizie changes from the defensive lineman who was Jason Taylor. I mean, he was no slouch. Okay, he switches from Jason Taylor into a defensive back, makes the defensive back dive for no reason, giving the receiver clear field into the end zone.
Oz Hakeem, good times.
And I lost my composure, and I ran
it was the
outside,
best play of Joey Harrington's career.
Shouting. Incomprehensible shouting, actually. I don't even think I was shouting real words at that point. And then I came in.
Think Homer Simpson.
Then I came in, ejected the disc, and just threw it outside.
Like a
so I was done with it. Yeah, no, I was done with it.
In the middle of the night.
No, you're absolutely correct. And then I repeated that same thing.
I was going to say, was that the first time it happened?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the last time,
No,
I know that.
I repeated that same thing when I was in college.
You also threw cinder blocks.
Yeah, that's
and a potted plant.
Yeah. And then when I was in college,
he was nothing to please.
After Title Update 6 and Gears of War 2, I ripped that out of my Xbox Elite at the time and threw that out into the woods like a frisbee. So
I was on Xbox Live with it. I'm going, what is happening?
So glad to see you can keep your composure.
To circle back now, there was something about Madden 2006 that kept players invested. The franchise mode, I think I'm in year 17 or 18 in franchise mode in Madden 2006. And to this day, when I want to play a Madden game, I will hook up my GameCube, put the memory card in, and put Madden 2006 in, and that is the Madden that I will play. Every year I buy the new Madden game. I play a couple of games sometimes, and then never touch it again. In fact, not last year's Madden, which I haven't played still, but the year before, I got Madden, and you were the first one to actually play a game on it months after I bought it, just because it doesn't keep me invested.
I mean, this one might. It gives you a little bit more control in the franchise mode. The control we used to have.
Okay.
It brings a little bit of that back. You can't really do anything with the draft until afterwards. So once you draft a kid, then you can change their name and everything like that.
Okay.
So it returns control, and if you feel like just being a tyrant, you can turn off the salary cap and just go nuts. It returns that layer of control to the franchise mode.
Well, one of the things I liked most about Madden 2006 was you had to work within the salary cap, but you also could get characters at a low player ranking. And you could work with those characters in the off season. You could do drills to level them up a little bit in regular franchise mode. But then, based on their performance in game, after every couple of weeks, their skills could go up or down. And I think that was something that I enjoyed most, was being able to take these players that nobody else wanted, but that I saw something in, and work with them to make them better.
Right, you don't even really... You can still do that. But, spoiler alert, you don't have to, because you can also edit contracts in franchise mode. So, I can have all of us on the Dolphins and pay us each $2 million a year for 7 years.
You're not paying me $2 million a year.
I could pay a team of creative
I will
players.
be the highest paid linebacker ever.
So, I mean, they've allowed it so you can keep the team you want together.
Okay.
So, I'll probably have one franchise like that with the Dolphins.
So,
and have a more realistic approach with the Lions on a separate franchise. It's fun. It allows you to do both.
So if you had to make a recommendation to players now, based on the limited experience you've had with this game, do you recommend picking this up, or do you think you should wait until it goes down a little bit in price and pick it up later?
If you thoroughly enjoy Madden, get that shit now. Because it's worth playing. It's worth playing if you enjoy Madden. If you're a more casual person, go ahead and wait till the price goes down.
Because if you have 2017, unless you're an addict for it, you really don't need to get the new one right away.
I mean,
a couple new players, some new stats.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, now the story mode.
Well, yeah, they add a little something, stats, a little story mode, whatever, but like I said, if you're a casual player, you're not going to be playing story mode most likely.
I
continue playing 17, help continue playing 16, and then pick it up when Black Friday sale or whatever.
I mean, I'm gonna get started now and get my franchises going. Who's to say they don't, patch some of the franchise mode cheats that I've not cheats, but easy way outs.
I'd like to point out how Psycho did not give him the option of not recommending it at all. It was like, would you pick it up now or pick it up later? Like, you're going to buy it.
Oh, no. If you know me and you ask me, you're going to get Madden eventually. One way or another, you're getting that shit.
Hey, I'm not getting Madden.
Well, if you ask me, if you should.
I was gonna say,
you're getting
of all the people at this table, like Weezie's the least likely to ever get Madden.
See, I don't own a single Madden game.
You don't think you're getting it, but what you don't know is that when he's done with his disc,
he's giving it to you,
and he buys it digitally, he's going to give you the disc-based copy that he purchased first, because that's how he is. He gives you things he's already used.
Yeah, this is just frisbee fling that into the wild.
Continuing a long-standing NKAA video game tradition.
So we got Madden out of the way. So definitely recommend from Haiti. I know you guys had something you want to talk about Destiny.
So the next big game coming out comes
Destiny
out.
2, I mean, right?
Yeah, this Tuesday is Destiny 2.
Which, whenever this podcast actually goes out, it's September 6th.
No, that's September 5th. September 6th is a Wednesday.
Oh, well, close enough.
Yeah.
September something.
Yeah.
So this game and I have a very difficult relationship. When the first game released its beta on the Xbox One, it was going to be this new thing. I was never a fan of Halo, but it was being created by the company that created the first Halo with Microsoft, Bungie. They worked with Halo through, I believe, Halo 3 before leaving Microsoft as a first-party studio and then going over and working with Activision to create Destiny. And the demo for Destiny 1 was, in my opinion, incredibly boring. And I know it's very divisive, and people are gonna be upset that I said that.
No, I've heard both sides. I've heard it's either really boring or it's maybe. I've never heard anybody says, "Oh, it's all right. It's pretty good." It's either you like it or you don't.
Yeah. And the demo, it's not that I disliked it. It was just boring. The only thing that kept me playing the demo, and I played the demo over and over and over again, was the ability to play it with my friends. If I was playing it by myself, I would have played it the first time and stopped. If I had been playing it by myself, I would have played the first time, been done with it, and stopped and not played it again. So it was the ability to play it with my friends that kept me playing the demo. But it was boring. There was really no story. It's like, here, go here. Okay, well, why am I going here? And what I told myself at the time was, the reason it's like that is because they don't want to give the story away until you buy the game. Fair enough. So the game came out. I wasn't in a position to buy it, and I knew quite a few people that did. And talking to them about it, there's no story in the game. The first Destiny game had no story.
Essentially, right?
Well, I mean, there was lore, but the lore was given to you through these cards that you earned for doing certain things. And you would have to go to this website after you unlocked a card and then look up the lore on that card. It was a very difficult way to get the story of something because the story just wasn't there.
Okay.
Right? So I ended up not buying the game until the first 2 expansions came out, and then they did a bundle with the 3rd expansion, which I bought. And as a gift, I also bought it for Enforcer. And we started getting into it, and we played it, but the grind was long, the gear system was not great. Anyway, fast forward to Destiny 2. At the beginning of Destiny 1, Bungie came out and said that they had a 10-year plan. That you were going to have this game and this Guardian for 10 years, and you were going to work towards it. And granted, it was a very ambiguous statement. Okay, they said that you would have this Guardian for 10 years. Okay, well, when they announced Destiny 2, people were wondering what would carry over from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2, because you have this Guardian for 10 years. Right? I always assumed that we would just get updates to the game that we would pay for.
Right.
$30 here, $20 there, maybe $40 for like a big update. And that's how it would work. But then they announced they were making a sequel. Fine. Then they come out and said nothing you've earned in the first game will carry over. Not armor, not gear.
So first game means
not
nothing.
Weapons.
Basically.
But your Guardian would carry over. So just your person with nothing and the things you would accomplish would carry over. But none of the shaders or banners or weapons, armor,
emotes,
gear, emotes, nothing else would carry over. And as a fan of the game, it frustrated me, and I decided I was not going to buy Destiny 2.
Good.
I couldn't get behind that.
All right, so I guess the podcast is over then. You're not buying it, right?
No. in talking to people, it was kind of, I don't like this. Many people didn't like it, but it ended up, one of the people we play with was going to get it. I didn't want them to have to play alone, so I ended up saying that I would get it too.
Okay. And then I was in the conversation as well, and I was like, you know what, I'll get it. You know, if everybody else is going to get it, I'll get it and play. Especially knowing that this one is actually, from the beginning, going to have a story. Is kind of one of the things that got me to pick it up, because the first game, I didn't like, Psycho bought it for me, but he bought it, and when he bought it, the expansion that came out actually gave the game a story. Okay. Gave the game an actual story. So I was, it helped me get through the game. I'm a very story-driven person, so I'll play Fallout, I'll play Skyrim, I'll play all those, single-player games that are very story-driven. So when I saw the story trailer for Destiny 2 this past week, that was the new one that came out, I was like, you know what? I'm thinking about getting it. I wasn't going to get it at launch. I was going to wait a little while, but seeing as how our other friend got it, figured I'd jump in.
And, the interesting thing is, going from a game that had no story, essentially. Mm-hmm. I mean, and again, Destiny 1 had a story, but you had to look it up. It wasn't included in the game. You had to go online and read these things.
The Grimoire cards.
Yes. Bungie was like, okay, well, you're mad you didn't have a story. We're going to give you a story. But we're gonna make that story tie in with the fact that we're not letting anything carry over. So in Destiny 1, there's one place on Earth still around. It's the last city. And they have this, for Destiny 2, they had these people, these Cabal soldiers come in and destroy the entire last city. So the vault where you store all of your stuff when you're not fighting gets destroyed. And that's why your Guardian has absolutely nothing to start the new game. Because it's all destroyed. Yeah, it's all destroyed.
Except you would end up naked with no weapons if everything was destroyed because you have stuff on you. But
yeah, okay.
Logic-wise.
So everything you're not wearing is destroyed.
Basically.
Yeah. And it's, okay, they're tying into the story. People complain there was no story, but I think it's a very cheap way to kind of gloss over the fact that they told us we're having these things for 10 years, and then they decide, now it's a sequel game, so all this stuff doesn't carry over. And in my opinion, I didn't want everything to carry over, because I get it. That's a lot of stuff to do. But I thought that, at the very least, they could have included the banners that you unlock for doing different things, because those are just JPEG files. They should not be that difficult to carry over. Right? In a perfect world, they would have carried over every exotic weapon and armor that you had unlocked, because there weren't a lot of them. I think that in total there were maybe 70 pieces of exotic gear that you could have. And they could have had a small team of people working on that and carry them over. But they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to put any effort into doing that. So I was frustrated. It felt like they were making no effort to give the fans what they promised to give them. Essentially.
So, have you guys gotten the game?
Yeah, I bought the digital deluxe edition.
Have you played it?
It doesn't come out till Tuesday.
We can preload it now.
So you can preload it, install it, so on Tuesday...
so that way you just Tuesday turn it on, you're going to be not like, I got the game on Tuesday, and I got to wait 17 hours to load it.
Exactly.
I hate Xbox. I got my Xbox One, a year and a half ago, whatever. And I was like, I want to play a game. Cool.
That's where things went wrong.
Just got home from Target. You want to pop in the new game and play this. Wrong.
Nope. Wrong.
You have no option but to load the game onto the system now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Every game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Jesus. And then it's like, I thought they were being nice. Like, it starts loading. It's like, you can now play the game while it loads.
No, you can't.
Cool.
It's like a little.
It was a wrestling game. It was one of the SmackDown, whatever the hell came out for that year. And I was like, all right, cool. At least I could play it while it loads. It let me pick either between like The Miz and one other person, and I couldn't do anything else but have singles match. Like, what the hell is this?
It's not worth it at that point.
I don't want to be the Miz. Nobody wants to be the Miz.
Miz is all right.
No.
This is all right.
If you got a wrestling game, you do not want to be the Miz.
I don't care.
You want to be Austin. Right. You want to be somebody. You want to create your own guy.
I like
do your own damn thing.
I like Miz's theme music, so that.
Okay, you can have his theme music all you want. That's fine. Do it. But if you're playing a game, like, you don't want to be the Miz.
It's interesting that you bring up wrestling games because all of us here are fans of wrestling games. We've been playing them for years, back to the...
I just sucked last year.
The N64 version,
last year's.
In my opinion, the N64 version is where we all really got into it. But I've been playing wrestling games since WrestleMania on the NES, right? Then you had like Super WrestleMania on the Super Nintendo or something. I have that too. But man, how far wrestling games have fallen recently.
Yeah,
they just suck the fun out of them.
The grappling system, I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. I hate the grappling system. To me, it's slow.
No, it is.
The reversals are slow. And the customizing is there to a point. I really like the fact that on my creative guy that I did, I was able to put my tattoos on him. I just took pictures with the camera, went through the little system, whatever, and he actually has all my tattoos, which makes him me.
Yeah,
absolutely. Compared to like, that's the similar size. I make it kind of the style of my tattoos. So that was cool. But then it's like, compared to previous games, there are options for like hairstyles. Completely different. There's a lot less options now. It's like you have to choose between these like 5 different styles now. Like they took away a lot in the customizing. At the same time, they added a lot like when it comes to the decals and what you can design them as. But the actual look of the person, they took away a lot. And the clothing you can wear, they took away a lot of stuff. There just isn't much options. And the moves, moves, we start getting to that aspect of it. It still takes like 3 hours to do a move set for your own custom guy. But there's a lot of stuff missing. They really limit you as to what you can do.
That's what happened when 2K took over, though.
Yeah,
made it a simulator.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
When THQ went out of business, which is a company that used to make the game, 2K took over. And they decided that they had such success with their NBA 2K series and the fact that it was simulation,
but they were
going to turn wrestling games into a simulation.
But they're such different style games.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And it killed it for me. I haven't played a wrestling game.
I mean, a wrestling game is just that. It's a wrestling game. If you're going to try and pack it as another type of game, it's a fighting game. It's a Mortal Kombat. Like you're in the ring, you're fighting, you have moves, you have your own. That's what it is. It's closer to Mortal Kombat than it is basketball.
The problem is they want the games to feel exactly like matches look on TV, but you can't get that, in my opinion.
But even
you can't get that.
But even if they want that, that's fine. But from the past wrestling games, the past ones that come out, it's almost like they're like, oh, here's a wrestling game, but you're not really even the fighter. You're in the production van. That's your job.
Yeah.
You're producing a show.
Yeah.
Like, no, I want to be Stone Cold whooping that ass. I want to be The Rock dropping that rock bottom. I don't want to be the little jabroni pushing buttons. Oh, this camera angle, that camera angle. Here's the storyline. I don't care. I want to get in the game and I want to whoop some ass.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, I want to go on top of the cage, put somebody through it, throw somebody off into the tables. I want to go under the cage, under the ring, pull out tables, chairs, beat people down. That's it.
But it's like the story, and especially like the story modes and things like that. Remember, I like story-driven games, and when they used to have the different options where you could be your created character and you can go through a story, and you can be Austin and go through a story, you can be all these different characters. That's all gone. Now it's literally, all right, well, we're going to give you a calendar, and you can pick Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and you're going to go to each one of those shows and main event, and you're going to have a match, and you're going to have to work your way through the rankings.
Right.
And it's just boring that way.
And I'll give it to them when they first came out with that idea where, you go every week, you go week by week up to WrestleMania and you do it all over again. With the people who did the creative people and we could download other people's stuff from their online.
It was amazing.
It was fun. I mean, even the game was already lacking. That's when the game was starting to lose stuff. But the fact that when they first had that option, that I had like all the Power Rangers, I had all these crazy characters. So I'm in the middle of my match, like Lord Zed comes running down, and then out of nowhere, I would have like Wolverine come. Like it made it a little more entertaining. It was just funny situations that would come in. Lord Zed wanted my ass though. Every time Lord Zed would interfere in my match, and I had to whoop his ass. But it was cool, and you could still do that in the new ones.
I have my vengeance against the Great Ranger.
Like you can still do that in the new ones when people create those guys, but it's just like you said,
feel the same.
The move sets. It's just too complicated.
They got rid of the arcade feel, which is what the games were when we were growing up.
Right.
That's the, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, SmackDown vs. Raw. And now it's more simulated.
And one of the biggest things that really pissed me off about the game when I got it, and I know the new one I think is the same problem in the past two, is that I could not have my own custom music.
Yep, I got rid of that.
I could not have my own music. I had to pick from more of the songs or that they already use for other people. Yeah. That's the point of having to create a character. If I went into WWE right now and I made myself, this is my gimmick, I'm not going to go out and come out to John Cena's music. That's just stupid.
They may force you to feel him.
I'm going to come out to something by like Bone Thugs or Tech Nine. That's what I'm going to come out to.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be able to do, but they don't allow that anymore. And something with Microsoft, and they didn't put in the system for whatever reason, the coding. It was just supposed to be getting fixed, but they never did.
No, and that was the thing that frustrated me most when 2K took over. They had a basis they could work from, because the last game that THQ made, I think it was 13 or 14. I think it was 14. But you could create videos with your guy.
But from my understanding, the music isn't a...
it's from the Microsoft side.
Yeah, it's from the Microsoft side. They don't have a way... They don't have the option of having a storing MP3s or whatever on the system that you can play through the game. Whereas I believe... I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the PlayStation version... There's a way to get your own music in there by going through their system. Like there's a back door. But Microsoft, there is no back door. They closed that.
There is no door.
And if they're
just like, yo, this is King Tut's tomb. There is no entrance. There's no exit. You're done.
I mean, and personally for me, I could overlook that if they hadn't made other changes, because my favorite wrestling game to this day is still No Mercy, and I couldn't enter my own music into that game. It didn't impact it. But
we also, that game, we look like a bunch of squared people.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that frustrated me most was they had WWE 14, right? And you could create moves, you could create entrance videos, you could create all these different things for your character. And the very next year, when they're like, oh, it's bigger and better than it's ever been. No more create a move, no more create an entrance, nothing. Like all these things, and they got rid of half the moves and half of the create a superstar looks and abilities and everything else. It's supposed to be bigger and better than it's ever been. You actually got rid of half of the stuff.
When I go to a creative player and I cannot get a guy to have, what the hell's with this pen, dude? He's popping off and shooting at me. But if I can't get a guy to have a hairstyle that's just like a buzz cut, kind of short, like a fade, you cannot find that easily in that. If you can't, that's like such a basic hairstyle for wrestlers. And then it's like, oh, Randy Orton's got that hairstyle, great. But your creative guy can't have that hairstyle. Like, you've already got it programmed in the game.
Yeah.
And they don't let you do it. It's like, you guys are really sorry. And there's like only 4 or 5 women hairstyles.
It's like, you're telling me I can't do the rock bottom. There's the rock.
And he's doing the rock bottom.
But you're telling me I can't do it. First, you don't let me create my own finisher, but then you're not going to let me do the rock bottom? What's next? You're not going to let me do the Stone Cold Stunner? Well, guess what? I'm not going to play this game.
Yeah, that's it. Done.
I mean, the only reason why I played last year's game was 2K16 was because it was free. It was the Games with Gold Game of the Month.
Yeah. It was. That's the only reason I have it.
I mean, I hadn't played a game since I think it was owned by THQ. I didn't get the first 2K game.
No, I got the first 2K game. It was 2K15. And I got it. I got the collector's edition because I'm a huge Hulk Hogan fan. And that had a special Hulk Hogan Funko Pop. It had a plaque with part of the ring when Hogan came back to WWE. And he signed it. It's actually signed by Hulk Hogan. It's got a piece of the ring canvas from that return, which is the whole reason and the only reason that I bought that game. Was for
nice bit of memorabilia there.
Was for the Hulk Hogan thing, and I played the game one time. After creating my guy, I was like, "Wow, why are so many things missing?" Then I turned the match on. I was playing. I'm like, wow, why does this suck? And I never played it again.
Yeah, and it's just gotten worse every year. It just gets a little worse and a little worse. It's sad because wrestling games, I was always a guarantee buy day of release. Get the new wrestling game and spend the first 7 hours. You're creating your guy, making him perfect, doing everything. Then you go and play.
Waiting for the rest of your boys to do the same thing so you can download him.
No, but back then there was no download. It was, hey, MrPsyco, so what'd you do? All right, what numbers you put in? You have to sit there and create him over the phone with MrPsyco on the phone. And
no, I remember my dad yelling at me to get off the phone because when No Mercy came out, I called you and we sat on the phone for a good 3 hours. I had WrestleMania 2000 in so you could get everything that your guy had at WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy.
All the right moves,
and then
everything.
You copied my stuff in, and then while we were still on the phone, I used everything and copied it into my game over the phone because you couldn't download stuff.
Yep.
And then we get in and we just play. Man, that was... Back in the day, still my favorite wrestling game. That and Day of Reckoning 2.
We're dating ourselves here with the No Mercy. It's still the best game, but goddamn, it was a while ago.
We're all in our 30s.
Except for me.
You're close, though, so it counts.
You young bastard.
30 billion Brontosaurus. So... But yeah, they've gone downhill, and every year they get worse. And every year you hope that they're going to see the error in their ways, but it doesn't happen. Because then you still get the fans who are like, oh, it's a wrestling, and they buy it, and they praise it like it's the best game that's come out yet. It's like, guys, yeah, the graphics look better and better every year, sure. But it's lacking.
That's it.
Graphics don't necessarily make the game.
No, not at all. And the problem was amazing.
The problem with this year... Right, the problem with this year is they had all this feedback that they've been getting, and the only thing they decided to work on this year was making the player models more realistic. So instead of using the scans they did years ago and touching up the lighting, they decided to rescan all the wrestlers and make them look better. Well, that's great, but why can't I create my guy the way I want to create him? Why does the match still suck?
Right.
You know, why is it not fun? Why is it that I am in a wrestling ring?
It's not fluid. Like, it's not.
Why is the rum always gone?
Doing moves isn't fluid. It's real robotic. When you're trying to do a move, like you have to push the button. And okay, grapple. Then you have to push something. Like you can't just go from one move right into another like you used to. Just do a quick movement. Got it. Nothing. Like you have to get real robotic. It feels forced and faked, and it's just not there.
Why am I, creating my guy, getting in a match with Randy Orton, and the match is not fun? Like, why is it that I'm standing there and I'm thinking to myself, I could be playing any other game right now, and it would be more fun than this?
I can tell you why it's not fun. You're going against Randy Orton, but it's for another podcast.
But we're getting ready to wrap this up. I'm going to let anybody know who goes off and buys any of the old wrestling games or any of the new ones. It doesn't matter because I imagine it still pertains to today. Do not go against Undertaker.
Yeah. Remember?
Oh, man.
I don't know what it is.
WWE.
The past few games especially, he always glitches somehow. And he's like on one side of the ring, you blink, and he's choking you and killing you.
Or he'll be choking you from the other side of the ring.
Yeah. I don't know when he glitches. So it got to the point where we nicknamed him Darth Taker.
Yes.
Because he was using
Taker,
the Force. Yeah. And he'd fly around the ring. Do not do it to yourself.
No, there was a match we were playing online, Weizie and I, and we were playing as a tag team, and Undertaker just came out and from outside the ring.
Because in your story you've been pissing him off.
Yeah, so outside the ring, and this was WWE 2009.
Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown versus Raw 2009, and from outside the ring, he just chokes Weizie and then pulls him through the ropes onto the floor where he's tombstoning him. I don't... Physics be damned at that point because I'm pulling you through all the ropes.
Might as well be pulling you through walls.
Oh, man. Wrestling games, what happened to you?
All right.
I kind of want to play No Mercy.
We're at an hour and 3 minutes on this podcast.
Diggity dog.
We were going to try and shoot for a 30-minute podcast on games, but that did not happen. So
we'll eventually be more organized, but for now, enjoy this.
We will never be more organized.
It's not organization. We have lots of good things to say. That's really what it comes down to.
On all of that, this is I think this is the end here. We asked you guys to Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. That
comment, tell us if we suck, if we're good. I really hope you tell us we're good.
Just tell us we suck. Whatever.
I mean,
don't mind telling LiL Haiti to shut up. He won't listen to you.
We'll make him shut up. Don't worry.
We have ways. We've cut dreadlocks off before. So, yes, like, subscribe. Most importantly, please share. Share it. Even if you're like, oh, this podcast, video, whatever is horrible. Great. Share it to your friends. Show them how horrible it is. Sit there, laugh at us, call us all the names you want, but just share it to everybody and make fools of us. We don't care. Just definitely get it out there. We appreciate it if you do. Like I said, leave some comments. Let us know what you like. Let us know any points, anything we missed, anything we were wrong on, because I guarantee you there's things we're going to be wrong on, because they're essentially all opinions when it comes down to it. So, on that note, this is Weizie signing out.
This is LiL Haiti saying, have a good night.
So long from MrPsyco.
And have a good one, everybody. This is Enforcer.
You made that kind of awkward, but all right.
Oh, well, doesn't matter.
Please don't sue us. We broke.